Hey guys, in this video I'll be remaking the 1985 version of Mario on Unreal Engine 4. So let's just start in the select template. I'm going to go on the 2D side scroller, create that, just name this Mario 2021. Now you start with this little 2D side scroller. You can jump around. It's not too fun. There's not really a jumping animation too, so it just looks like you're running in the air. But we'll improve that. So I'm just going to create a new folder called Maps, and then I'll create a new folder, Mario, and then Blueprints, Widgets, and then in Sprites, I'm going to create a thing called Car, a folder called Car for Character, CHAR. And then back in Mario, I'm going to create a new one called Maps. And in Maps, I'm going to go in File, New Level, and I'm just going to create a blank level. And I'll go ahead and do Control S to save, and I'll save it in my folder. And call this Mario. Now you can see you're in this boring little level, nothing really impressive. Now what I'll do is just delete a couple of things here that I don't need. I don't need the sky sphere, I don't need reflectors or anything. And what I'll do is I'll change the background to a blue, like a normal blue that you'd see in a Mario game. And I'll just copy paste this to all the colors. Now you won't see it yet. When you play it's still the basic color, but then by unclicking that, now you see it, it's perfect. Now I'm back in my characters folder. I'm going to slide in my Mario little sprite sheet. So this is all the animations that I want. And I'm going to right click that on sprites animation. I'm going to do apply 2D. Now you see it's an actual PNG. Now I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go extract sprites. Now in this, I don't really like this character sheets because it's a bit of extra little dots, pixel that they took as sprites. So I'll just go ahead and delete that for you. Now I saved them all, and let me just select my first two. So there's an idle and there's a walk animation. I'm going to go all the way up and do create flipbook, and I'm going to call this one Mario walk. And as you can see, it's still very, very fast, so I'm just going to add some frames here. So now you can see it's a good walking animation. And now if I go in my 2D side scroller blueprints, I can open my character blueprint, which is this basic guy. And now I'll select both of them and copy into my blueprints folder that I created in my Mario folder. And now in this, first what I'm going to do actually is just create an idle animation, the idle flipbook. So it's just one picture and it's just him standing there. So I'm going to select my idle for my false and my walk for my true. And now let me just set my, I'm going to change the name first. I'm going to be BP Mario. Game mode from GM. And then it's going to be BP Mario. And now in my world settings, I'm going to change that to my game mode and the Mario character for my player. And now if I play, you can see there's my really small and floating in the air character, but the animation works, which is what I want. Now what I'll do is just change that to my Mario idle animation. I'll make that a bit bigger, and let's just adjust the sphere so that the capsule sphere is where I touch the ground. So I'm just going to adjust that so I don't float. And now what I'm also going to do is just adjust the camera to have it at a good level for me. Now in my environment folder, I'm just going to slide in these things that I prepared earlier. I have a block. I have a little one of those tubes in Mario. And another block. So I'm going to select all of those and do extract sprites. And now I have 3 sprites right here. I'm going to select all of them and do Control Save. Now let me just delete the ground and add one of these in there. I'll shrink it to 0.5. So I'll click the little lock to select 0.1 is good. So that all of them are together. That's a bit too big for me. I think I'll do it at 0.08. That looks perfect. So now what I'm going to do is hold it and then hold Alt and just slide one out. And there you go. Now I can duplicate it really easily. And then I'm just going to go in time lapse here and copy that over and make a big floor. And there you go. Now what I'm going to do is just add some environment in there. So you guys can do this. If you're following along with me, you guys can just do your own thing. You don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing. But this is more an in-detailed tutorial on how I made this. Okay, now I'm going to create a new folder called extras. Oh no, yeah, extras. And in there I'm just going to make a coin actor. I'm also going to slide in my coin picture that I have, my coin PNG. And do apply paper 2D and then extract the sprite. Now if I'm going to control save that. And now I'm going to add in a paper flipbook. No, not paper flipbook. A paper sprite. And then I'll select it. I'll just rename that first. It'll be coins. There you go. Now if I look it up, there you go, I can find it. I'm going to put that as 0.1. Now what I'm also going to do is add a box collision. So when I run into the box collision, it deletes the coin and it adds 1 point to my score. Now in my Mario blueprint, I'm just going to create a variable called coins and change it as an integer. And I'm also going to make a score one so that I can keep my score and my coins updated into my character. Now off event begin overlap, after begin overlap, I'm just going to cast this to my BP Mario. And then off the object, I'm going to do cast to player, pawn. And then as BP Mario, I'm going to get the coins and the score. And then I'm also going to set the coins and the score so that I can set the new value of coins to +1 every time I go onto a coin. So off coin, I'm just going to look up plus, just put in the plus sign, and then I do enter, and then there's the plus plus integer. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one, integer plus integer. And then, but for this one, for the score, every time I get a coin, like the old game, you get 200 points. Now at the end of that, I'm going to do destroy component, and I'm going to choose the sprite, so the paper sprite. And I'm also going to do destroy actor so that there's no leftover there. Now I'm also going to create a widget HUD, heads up display, so that my Mario can actually see what the score is. So if I put in a text there, I'll align this, I'll call this Mario. No, I don't really like my Mario font, so what I'm going to go free fonts. And then the second one, I'm going to look up Mario. Now if I scroll a bit down here, you can say this one is Super Mario. And I'm just going to click download on that one. Super Mario World. I'm going to import it in a new folder called Fonts. Now if you guys are missing any of this, you can put this in 0.075 speed if you want. Slow it down and according to you guys. And now you see there, I just changed the font to the Mario font. It's that easy. And now I'm just going to duplicate it so that I don't have to redo everything that I did. And I'm just going to put 00006 zeros because that's how it is in the original game. And now I'm going to get the coin in my extras. I'm going to get the coin picture I have, add that in there, make it small. I'm just going to add a little X beside it for times. So I can, so it's a little indication that it's the amount of how many I have. I'm going to change that to that font. And I'm also going to anchor it to the top. You always want to do that because if not, it won't be placed well onto the game, onto the player screen. Now I added this 000, and then I click create binding. And from there, I'm just going to cast it to my BP Mario where I kept the coin variable. I'm going to do get player pawn. And then from as BP Mario, I'm going to get the coins. From that, I'm just going to slide that into the return value, click on the grouping, and then add that to 3 since I put 3 zeros. Right? 1, 2, 3. And then in the Mario, there's 6. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to get the score variable this time. I'm going to go BP Mario, get player pawn, and then I'm going to go get score. Then from score, slide it in, but now I'm going to do use grouping off and put that as 6. There you go. And now from my event begin play, I'm just going to create that widget so that actually shows on my screen. So I'm going to do create widget, and from there I'm going to do add to viewport, plug that in, and I'm going to select my new HUD, heads up display. And when I play, there you go. Now let me just slide in my coin so that I can see if it actually works. And there you go. Now when I get it, it gives me 200 points and 1 coin. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hold Alt and then slide it over. So hold Alt and there you go. Duplicating it. Perfect. Now, when I run into them, 200, 400, 600 points, 300 coins. That's working perfectly. Now, what I'm going to do here is just a little dead spot so that you can die when you fall in that hole. I'm going to copy a couple of blocks so you don't see the background when you fall. It's not like you don't know that there's air underneath. Perfect. And now in my extras, I'm going to create a new actor and call this dead. And then from here, I'm just going to add a box component and scroll all the way to the bottom, do on component begin overlap and do create widget. Now I don't have this widget yet, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in my widget folder, create new widget, and then call this dead again. Or game over. Game over works too. And I'm going to add a big image. And this is just going to be a black screen. And then also text. And this text, I'm going to call this one game over. And then I'm going to connect it to the font. And then I'm going to do the alignment at 0.5. And I'm going to anchor it to the middle. And then put the position of X and Y to 0. And then make it big. And now I can choose my game over widget and do add to viewport. And it plugs both of those right in. And then also I'm going to do set game pause so that my player doesn't just fall endlessly while there's the widget on top of the screen. Now I'm just going to add this here. And there you go. Now when you go in there, you die. Woohoo! Now what I'm going to do is just copy this base here and the coins with it so I don't have to re-add them. And I'm just going to hold Alt and drag it over. So now you can go up there and get more coins. I'm going to do the same thing. Hold Alt, bring it down. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is just duplicate my actor and call this Goomba. This one's going to be for my little Goomba, those little mushroom looking things in Mario that you have to jump over to kill. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a little character that you'll have to jump over and kill. But if you hit it on the side, if it hits you, you die. I'm also, before that, I'm going to create a little jumping animation. So on the jumping little character there, I'm going to do Mario jump. And then I'm going to go in my BP Mario blueprint. And I'm going to create a new widget, new variable called isJumping with a question mark. And this one is going to be a Boolean because that's a true or false. Now, out of update animation, I'm going to do a branch, get my isJumping, plug it right in there. And then from true, I'm going to do set flipbook. And that flipbook is going to be my new jump animation. And out of false, I'm just going to plug it in there. And it's that simple. Well, actually, it's not quite done, but it's that simple. So out of my handle jump, I'm going to set it now, and I'm going to set my isJumping to true. And now the last thing, I'm just going to get my event on land. I'm going to do Control W on that widget to duplicate it, and I'm just going to set it to false. So now when I jump, there's the jumping animation. Look at that. Now I'm going to go back to my sprites, my character, and I'm going to slide in my Goomba animation. Not animation, but picture. I'm going to extract sprites. And once again, there's all these little pixels that were added. So I'm just going to delete all of that but one. And now in my blueprints, I'm going to open my Goomba. And create a sprite because I forgot to do that. I'll just call it idle. And then get my Goomba idle. Shrink that down. Let's just adjust the capsule size. That's about right. And now I'm just going to delete the cameras because we don't really need that. And I'm going to get a box collision, which the box collision is just going to tell me if I die. So if I hit the box, if it's because it's on the side, it'll tell me game over. But if I jump on it, it'll delete the Goomba. Now I'm just going to do Control W here to duplicate it so I can just automatically add it to the other side. No complications. And now I'm going to duplicate it again, but this time I'm going to rotate it and add it on top of my Goomba. And now I'm just going to click on component begin overlap. And I'm going to do that for all of them. Except on that one, it's going to be on component hit, because that's the one that when you hit the top of the head, he dies. So now I'm going to do cast to BP Mario. Once again, cast to BP Mario. And then out of that, I'm going to do a little delay. .05 will do. From there, I'm going to do create widget, and that's just going to be our game over widget. And now out of return value, I'm going to do add to viewport, and there you go. It's as simple as that. And now out of my component hit, I'm just going to call this dead. And now on my component hit, I'm going to do cast to BP Mario. And I'm going to get the score and set the score. And I'm going to do plus, so that every time I kill one, it gives me 200 points. Now out of that, what I'm going to do is delay, just a little couple second delay, so that you jump on it, there's a little delay, and then it deletes them. And then I'm going to do destroy component, and the component is going to be the sprite. And then I'm going to delete the actor. So destroy actor. And there you go. And I'm just going to call this, by pressing C, it creates that, and I do kill Goomba, or Boomba. Now let's just test it out. I'll add him to the scene. Slide him here. Okay, so now it's still a little Mario, and that's because we haven't changed our animations yet. So right here, let's just change that back to the Goomba. Now, if I jump on him, oopsies, there's a little bug. Let's try to fix that. So if the cube is too close, sometimes it kills me automatically. What I'm going to do is just remove the delay. Oops, that didn't help. So that works better, but it still doesn't kill him. Let's see what we did wrong. Let's try on component begin overlap. Let's just leave that there in case that doesn't do the trick. And there you go. So now we're going to add the delay back. Oh, but then the delay kills us. Okay, so that works. There you go. So I just changed that to on actor hit, on event hit. So I can add the delay back in there. Now when I run into it, I die, and when I jump on it, it dies. Perfect. Now I'm just going to delete these because it's a mess. And there you go. The Goomba is done. Now I can go, and then, oops. There you go, perfect. And now let's create the finish, the ending. Now in extras, I'm going to do a new blueprint and call this one flag. And in my environment, I'm going to slide in my flag. So I have the pole and the flag itself. I'm going to extract the sprites. And perfect. I'm going to place that in the scene. And in my extras, in my flag blueprint, I'm going to add a paper sprite. Call this one flag, and a box collision. So now this one I'm going to look up flag. Let's just shrink this down. And let's make the box collision bigger. I don't want to shrink the flag down itself because it's the perfect size that if I put it in the scene, it goes perfectly with the pole. So what I'm going to do is just make the box collision bigger. And now I'm going to do on component begin overlap. And now I'm going to add a timeline, call this flag down, and double click on it, add a float value. And I'm just going to do add key, set the 2 to 0, add another key, set it to 1 and 1. And I'm going to do the length to 1. So now that's perfect. It's 0 to 1. It goes down in 1 second. Now I'm going to do set world location. I'm going to do flag. And now from flag, I'm going to do get world location. Split that, and split that one too, and just plug in the X with the X. And now out of set world location, I'm going to add a little delay. Make it 1 second. And set game pause. Then after the paused game, I'm going to create a widget, which is congratulations, which I haven't created yet. So let's go in widgets, create widget, congratulations. Add text, put it to the center. I'm going to call this one congratulations. And then change it to the Mario font. Put that to 0, and let's just set that to 0.5.5. And there you go. Now I've got my congratulations widget. And now if I go back in my flag, I can plug that in and do add to viewport. And there you go. Now what I'm also going to do is get player controller so I can get the mouse cursor. So set show mouse cursor. And I'm going to plug that in and I'm going to say yes. So perfect. Now I'm going to add the flag blueprint in there. And there you go. Now, if we try this, woohoo, it works perfectly. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.